Substitution for the Fighting Maroons. Andy Hemao comes in for
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with Gab and Maui, and we just saw the first ever clip of Andy Hemao in Pinoy Liga wearing the UP Fighting Maroons jersey. One of the biggest surprises that we've had in the early season of Pinoy Liga. So hopefully hindi lang yun yung last surprise natin. But Gab, Maui, let's get this discussion. You've probably seen it in the title below. What was your reaction when we first heard or saw na Andy Hemao was actually playing for UP in the Pinoy Liga tournament yesterday, nung Sunday?
I'll start. First of all, first time we're ever showing a video clip on the Boleros podcast. May konting production value na tayo, guys. Gusto ko lang sa video. Yeah, but when I saw, and it was actually a reel or a story posted by, I think, his trainer, A-Skills. I think that's his training camp, right? So they posted a jersey, his jersey in UP Fighting Maroons, and I was, what?
Shinare mo, Maui, di ba? Tapos parang ako, ano to sinishare ni Maui? What's he talking about? Gulat ako.
Today, there has been no news of this at all. The only news that we've been getting is that he was in the States, I think, in the Basketball Without Borders Cup, or tama, Maui? Tama ba yun, diba?
Yeah.
The Basketball Without Borders.
Ganun siya.
The NBTC.
Yeah.
So he left Letran after grade 10, I think. So he went to the States. He's been playing in these leagues, but we never got news that, he was gonna play for UP. In the present time, we sort of had an idea that if he was gonna go into the UAAP, it's probably gonna be for UP because he has that connection with Coach Gold. He's been sitting with the UP Chancellor in games for the past few years.
Na training camp.
Mama na rin siya in
training camp. Pero Europe leg ng UP.
Yeah, but I think that was before he moved to the US, di ba? But ito first sort of sight natin of him in UP after that. Anyway, go ahead, Gab.
Like what we discussed with Mason Amos yesterday, watch out for that episode, guys. We interviewed Mason again. This was the biggest surprise of my offseason because it came out of nowhere. There were no rumblings that he was gonna play for UP in the Pinoy League. He was even part of the lineup that they submitted.
Wala.
Diba? So,
well, si Portea din wala initially.
No news, no rumblings. I don't think even Navs had any idea this was gonna happen. I mean, if he did have an idea, I'm sure he would have broken it first. But this is Navs we're talking about, yung Navin Ganglani. So I don't think he had any idea this was happening. We knew it was going to be UP if he was going to go to the UAP, but we didn't know it was going to happen now. And to be fair, there's still a question mark here. He's still not going to play for season 87, maybe season 88. But, it's like with Jared Bahay, Sam, yung natuto na ako, mahaba pa ang panahon. Things can happen. So he can go to the States and just stay there, or he can actually play for UP in the UAP. But wow, what a bomb the UP Fighting Maroons put on us this past weekend. This randomly suiting up Andy Hemao hours before game time. Grabe, ginulat ang buong UAAP community. Maui, Sam.
Yeah, I think Gab, you mentioned everything. Grabe yung surprise nga that Andy Hemao played. But to be clear, as Gab mentioned, he's not eligible for season 87. I think he's still going to grade 12, and then eventually, if he decides to play in the Philippines potentially for UP, it's gonna be during season 88. But ako personally, if you were to ask me, I have to be very straight. If you were to ask me where I want Hemao to be, I want him to continue to train abroad. I think he has the upside. I think The hype is real. This guy can probably be a future player internationally for us. But as Gab mentioned, it's still a long way to season 88. So maybe we see him with UP in season 88. Maybe we don't. We'll see. Sam.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. You guys mentioned everything, but very pleasant surprise, I think. And exciting for Pinoy Liga, di ba? Balak mo naman talaga manood, magugulat ka na lang biglang papasok si Andy Himao. And he showed some of his moves. We showed some of the clips earlier. So people were really hyped. Nakita ko yung mga comment section. I was watching it live. People were hyped or excited to watch him play then. Especially the UP fans. I think the gym was kind of packed.
For the UP fans out there, imagine nyo lang, Ray Remogat bringing up the ball with Francis Lopez and Andy Himao on both wings. Imagine all alley-oops is gonna happen, man.
Alley-oop. That's crazy. That's crazy. Speaking of UP fans, let's talk about UP because they had, since we talked about Andy Himao, they also had back-to-back games this weekend, which gave us the opportunity also to sort of see everyone play. So mapapansin nyo, the game nung Saturday, a different set of players played. Nung game nung Sunday, a different set of players played. I think that's why Andy Himao also had the opportunity to play for UP kasi a lot of the guys that played nung Saturday sat down. Both wins. Saturday was also like a very convincing win. Maui, you mentioned prior to the Sunday game, I think yung average win margin nila is 30 points.
32
plus. 32, yeah, I think.
32 points. So lumaban yung Olfu nung Sunday despite Andy Himao and some of the other stars playing. What have you seen so far from UP that has surprised you? Itong performance ng UP so far, has it surprised you or were you expecting it? Maui, let's start with you.
Yeah, actually, if you talk about yung first two games ng UP, I would say that this is expected. They basically have the same core from last year coming back, plus a few. Sila Gani Stevens, Denzel Walker, and some others. The players that they lost and the players that they didn't get, like Jared Bahay, were not part of the season 86 lineup. They were strong to begin with, so that's expected. Maganda yung game nila nung Sunday because it really gave them a test. Props to Our Lady of Fatima University. I think this is the first time, I have to be honest, this is the first time probably I've been able to watch this team play ever. And it made me think, maybe some other schools really need to get some coverage also. We always hear yung players from unknown schools. And it's good that a team like Our Lady of Fatima, I think they were second dun sa tournament nila that they joined, that they're part of. The first yung top team, I think, is by Gino Manansala. I forgot the name of school. But this is a great way to showcase yung lineups ng different schools outside of the UAP and the NCAA. But UP, I was surprised that I was just waiting the whole game for them to really put up a margin, and all of you just continued to fight and hustle throughout the game. Again, what was really good for me to see was Harold Alarcon was really taking over dun sa game nung latter part. I think this is the Harold Alarcon that we saw nung off-season ng season 86. This was what we expected from him nung season 86. But unfortunately, he had a very up and down season. So, despite my better judgment to call it, I'm still saying that Harold Alarcon will break out for season 87. UP has to be able to find a stable group of players from their huge, strong pool. And I think somebody has to be that go-to guy. Somebody, CJ Cancino, you could say, was one of those guys during season 86. With him leaving, I really think that Harold Alarcon has to step up to the plate and become that go-to guy. And I think if I were Coach Gold, siguro medyo bad trip ako that all of you was able to put up a fight. But for me, you gotta take away yung good things that happened. It's that when UP gets to play these types of games, it's gonna be preparation for them come yung hard games come season 86. I think that's where they lack talaga nung season 86 off season and probably season. Most of their games are lopsided. So when it came to that ball game against LaSalle that was very tight, maybe LaSalle had the upper hand because they were part of they had more games that were decided by 5 or less. But yeah, just like we've been preaching, UP is a very deep team. Sabi mo nga, Sam, di ba? They're basically playing a different set of players on the second day of the back-to-back. That's how strong UP is, di ba? They have a huge pool. Gab.
Okay, so I watched both games. I was able to catch a part of the first half and yung in the second half of their game against San Sebastian. And I did watch that game against Olfu. And before I go to the Olfu game, I do want to give my apologies to the Olfu Phoenix. I mentioned them in our first Pinoy Liga episode that I was surprised that they even had a team, a legit basketball team. And they showed me last Sunday that they're really good. They're really good. And they put up a hell of a fight. I mean,
also. Well coached.
Well coached. They had a chance to win this game. The game was... They were only down by 2 when Harold Alarcon made that layup in the last few seconds. So they had a chance to win this game. I was very impressed. So if ever we have any people who are fans of the Olfu Phoenix out there, my apologies. That's completely on me. But going to the game on Saturday, it was a blowout. So not much can be taken out of a blowout. It's the UP... a loaded UP team went to the finals last year. Essentially the same team playing against the San Sebastian Stags, who were mostly they were just outmatched. But my biggest takeaway is, did you guys see this guy Denzel Walker play? He's
finally
6'4".
got
He's
to see him play.
Yeah, finally got to see him play. He's a buddy of Gani Stevens. He already played college ball in the US. He's now here. He's a guard at 6'4", has great hair, and I liked what I saw. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna make the lineup. Well, probably if he had a residency here. He's a buddy of Gani Stevens. Maybe he was part of the package that was promised to Gani Stevens to get Denzel Walker here to UP. But I like his game. He's 6'4". He was playing point guard for most of the second half. He's athletic. He's long. I just don't know if he's gonna play. I mean, he's a guard. UP has a ton of guards. I don't know if he's gonna play big minutes. But 6'4" guard. Sino mga 6'4" guard ang nasa UAAP? So that was interesting to me to watch him play. I hope he gets some run in the upcoming... before he gets some run, I hope he gets a roster spot in the upcoming UAP season. So that's my first thing. But I do hope he gets some playing time. Again, there's a lot of guards in that UP backcourt that kind of melt over into the wing position because there's so many of them. But I do hope he gets some run. I like what I saw. In the game against Olfu, my biggest takeaway is Maui. You said it. We've been saying this since last offseason. Harold Alarcon is him. If there's one guy on UP that has the ability to manufacture his own shot with ease and with just so much grace and fluidity to his game, it's Harold Alarcon. And maybe a little bit of JD Kagulangan. But Harold gave us the bag. Clutch layup in the last few seconds. Clutch defense in the last possession against Olfu. Forced that turnover. This is the Harold Alarcon we wanted to see in season 86. We never consistently saw it. He had one game where he scored over 20 points. There were times he hit clutch shots, but we didn't see it consistently. I want to see this Harold Alarcon. I love Harold Alarcon's game. That game nung Sunday showed me that he still has it. No? Hindi pa nawawala yung hope natin, Maui, na magpakita si Harold Alarcon na superstar ako. Na ako yung go-to guy ng UP. Sana mangyari nga yun. I love his game. The other thing that's of note in this game is that UP struggled with Ture, the FSA from Olfu. Even though they had Gani Stevens, Sean Alter, I think those were the two centers in the lineup. They struggled. Yeah, they struggled against Ture. He was able to, especially in the first half, before UP started to zone in on the inside. Ture had his way with the bigs of UP. So maybe that's one chink in the armor. Again, Udodo didn't play, but Udodo's again he's not that big. I think it's only 6'8" to 6'9". So he's not that big. Maybe if you have a larger FSA, you could take advantage of that lack of size from UP. That's one way teams can look at it. That's very interesting to me. The other interesting to me is Mark Belmonte. My goodness, this guy loves to shoot it. Every time he gets it, I think he's just looking to shoot. I think Coach Gold was trying to get him some reps because he had I think he had a rough game. Very rough game. He turned the ball over a bunch, had a bunch of defensive mistakes, missed the box outs. But Coach Gold kept him in there. I think Coach Gold likes his game, his offensive potential. Still has a ton of experience needed to build his basketball IQ. You saw it there. I think he took the first 6 shots, 6 out of the first 7 shots for UP. Made one of them. So I like the potential of Mark Belmonte. I do hope that we get to see him more and he gets to develop more under, I think, his second season already in the UAAP. So those are my takeaways from UP. And of course, a shout out to Olfu, the guy Kobe Davis. Yeah, he impressed me. Si Ture, I already mentioned, impressed me. Their other guard, si De La Cruz, was pretty good as well.
De La Cruz.
Yeah, si De La Cruz was pretty good. Si Kevin Loyola, who was their top scorer from the previous game, wasn't able to get his shots up. Yeah, but he had a clutch 3.
Yeah.
He had a clutch 3 towards the end, I think, to cut the lead to 2. So shout out to this Olfu team, man. This was a good game no Sunday. So amazing start to Pinoy League. Sammy.
Sam, can I say lang? Can I say lang also, just to add lang dun sa Mark Belmonte ni comments ni Gab. I think Lopez, Belmonte, and Torculas, I have to say all 3 of them, we're trying to convert them into very versatile wings, which is very good for the future of Philippine basketball. If you saw them play kasi previous seasons, talagang exclusively at the power forward slot. But now you see Torculas, now you see Belmonte taking more threes, driving to the basket. I'm just happy. You can see you develop. Kasi some people say that UP start developing players. UP start developing players. They're just recruiting everyone. But if you watch closely, you can see players like Lopez. You can see players like Belmonte, Torculas. They're actually rounding up pretty well. And I think that all 3 of them have the capability to be converted to wings, to guard wings in the future, which would be beneficial to Philippine basketball if they do complete in transition. Sam.
Yeah, good call on Belmonte.
I hope this is not just a preseason thing, no. I hope this thing of playing Belmonte, Torculas, and Lopez on the wing, kaya nasabi ko last episode, I hope this becomes a UAAP season thing. Like we see this in actual season. So yun lang yung hope ko. Go ahead, Sammy.
The good call on Belmonte. I think he took a lot of threes then early during that game. And I think he's trying to, I think si Coach Gold is just trying to get him to build that confidence then. If you guys remember, sa previous season, a lot of the teams were leaving Belmonte at the three-point line because he couldn't make them consistently. So I think once ma-develop niya yung consistent three-point shooting, he had a game where he was hot pero very inconsistent siya in general. So once ma-develop niya yon, I think he would be a better threat dun sa three-point line or offensively, di ba, yung game. I think he just made one nung against Olfu, if I'm not mistaken. So good point on that. With that said, I hate to say this, pero I know we mention this all the time. We've seen a lot of guys play for UP. Back-to-back games sila. as Maui mentioned, as I mentioned, basically they had like Team A, Team B, both very talented, very deep teams. Actually, in yung both teams na yun, ipasok mo yun sa UAAP, that will compete yung teams na yun. Kahit walang FSA,
That's very true.
yung, di ba? Kahit walang FSA yung Sunday team, may Gani Stevens ka, may Sean Alter ka, laki nung dalawang yun. Those guys can bang with bigs, with FSAs. My big question is, we haven't seen Coronel. We haven't seen Coronel. So the question is
L.A. Andres. We haven't seen him since last season.
So I don't know. Parang I think Maui, you mentioned you heard somewhere na Coronel might be injured again. I haven't confirmed that.
Actually, may nag-comment sa atin, Sam.
Yun. Sorry.
Subscribers mentioned that Coronel, I think, is injured again. So maybe some of our subscribers can confirm this because we're really excited.
Confirm.
For me personally, I think all three of us are very excited to see Josh Coronel after him having all that hype even from last season. Diba? Sam.
Yun. So, that was the disappointing part of that UP weekend for me. Kasi I think in the previous episode, we talked about it. Sabi ko, I'm looking forward to the 2 UP games just because I want to see, I think that's the best chance for Josh Coronel to play. Apparently, he's still injured. So, yun yung disappointing thing for me this weekend. So, I think we covered UP. Again, itong UP team, very, very scary. They're like 20, 30 man deep team. And we haven't seen everyone yet. Yun yung nakakatakot. And may time pa, di ba? May oras pa na biglang may pumasok na iba pang player na manggugulat lang parang Andy Hemao, di ba? Let's move on to the next. So, from a high, UP doing really well. I think they're now 3-0, one of the top teams sa Pinoy Liga. To Ateneo's debut, and remember, Ateneo is the defending champs of this Pinoy Liga from last year. I think hindi sila natalo, if I'm not mistaken. They swept the elimination round.
Unbeaten, yeah.
Losing their first game. So it's a bit of a disappointing start for Ateneo. Now I want to start with you, Gab. Ano nakita mo dun sa Ateneo game na yun? We know Ateneo started out slow last year also. I think it was Phil Oil and then Pinoy Liga when they started winning. So ngayon, nauna yung Pinoy Liga and it's another slow start, it seems, for Ateneo, losing their first game. What was your initial reaction? It's just one game, but what did you see?
Before I go to Ateneo, now I know we're kind of framing this at Ateneo lost, but I'm more so thinking Mapua won this game. There's a reason they were the finalists last season in the NCAA. And I had the pleasure of watching.
MVP played. The MVP.
And the MVP played. I was just going to say.
And 8
I had the pleasure of watching Clint Escamis live. And I loved what I saw. His fadeaway 3 from the right to wing to give Mapua the lead in the fourth quarter. I think it was over Michael Asoro. And I was just, oh my.
With time expiring.
I mean, time expired the shot clock. I went to it and wow, what a shot. What a shot by Clint Escamis. And not just on offense, man. Also on defense, he gave Ateneo's guards, if you could call them point guards, because there was only one, he gave Ateneo's guards a ton of hell. He was pressuring the ball. I think had 6 steals or 5 steals to end that game. He was all over the court. He subbed out for, I think, a grand total of 2 minutes. And credits to Mapua, man. They had 12 guys. Ateneo had, 20? Mapua had 12 guys on their bench. I was talking to my dad. Wala bang ibang mga tao to, Mapua? This is it? This is their roster? But, man, they were good. They were good. Si JC Recto was really good. Penetrating the basket. This guy Habonete, despite being in foul trouble, had the clutch inside bucket off a Clint Escamis pass. So credits to Mapua, man. They totally outplayed Ateneo, especially in the second half and in the first quarter and in the fourth quarter. Now let's move to the Blue Eagles. The first thing that I noticed for Ateneo, they have a point guard problem. Well, now there was no Jared Bahay, and as confirmed by Mason Amos, he is still in high school, guys. Nag-aaral pa. Final exams nila sa Cebu.
Final
So
sa ata.
he's on his way. Okay, he's on his way. So don't panic. It was very apparent na without Ian Espinosa on the court, they kind of struggled to bring up the ball, to set the offense, to have any sort of flow on the offensive end. Nothing. They lack point. They tried, I think, 3 or 4 different backup point guards, from Ebdane to Kyle Gamber to Michael Asoro to Rafi Celis. They tried everything as a backup point guard. Wala. Not. I think si Ebdane was the best among those who tried to be a backup point guard. But otherwise, they have a point guard. Again, they lost 2 point guards this offseason in Jared Brown and Gab Gomez. So we do need point guards on this team. The second observation for Ateneo, they have no rim protection. That is one of the reasons why Mapua got a ton of baskets, especially in the fourth quarter. They were just going to the basket all the time. They were just penetrating, beating all the Ateneo defenders off the dribble and getting to the basket. No rim deterrent at all. And I don't know if Coach Tab was experimenting. He probably was. Most of the time, there wasn't a center on the court. And he was playing zone the entire game. It was a 1-3-1 hybrid trap zone. I have no idea what it was. I have never seen that kind of zone in my life. So, tell us if you know what kind of zone they were running, because I don't know. They put Ian Espinosa in the middle of that 1-3-1. They had a wing guarding at the back who was patiently going up and trapping. I have no idea what. And it showed that I think most of the guys in the Ateneo line really were still confused about what defense they were running, because they were also confused. They gave up a ton of inside points just because of being confused of where they were going to rotate. So there's obviously still a lot of bumps on the road for this Ateneo team. I mentioned in the comments in our last video na wag niyo muna isama ang Ateneo as one of the contenders for season 87. Because marami pang bigas kakainin tong Ateneo team. They're really young. They struggle a lot on offense, and in that game they struggled a lot on defense as well. Some bright spots, however. So I puro negatives Ateneo, but I do want to give some bright spots. I do like the aggressiveness of Sean Tuanyo, especially in that first quarter, and Kyle Gamber. Kyle Gamber took a lot of shots, was trying to be aggressive. He just couldn't hit anything. But I do think they need to be aggressive, because Chris Kuhn was not no Saturday, and I really think that we've seen Chris Kuhn last year try to be that main guy. He sometimes I don't know if it's a mental thing. He doesn't want to be the go-to guy. But if he's not, we need guys like Tuanyo and Gamber to produce offense for us. Especially if Jared Bahay is not going to be here for a month or two. We need guys to step up on offense. There's no ball creation aside from those guys. So I'm interested to see how efficient they can be. Maybe it's their first game. There's a lot of rust there. I do hope they keep on developing that offensive game, because we're going to need it. Chris Porter, I thought looked really good, was really aggressive. He looked really big and strong, was just bumping everyone around. So I like seeing that. And I was also sort of impressed by Michael Asoro. Last year, I never got to see Michael Asoro play a single game of basketball. Even in the Pinoy Liga Cup last season, he wasn't really that used. Or maybe he was injured, I think. So I haven't seen him play, but I liked what I saw. He's a long guard. He showed that maybe he can play a backup point guard role. I don't think that's his natural position, but tough debut for the Blue Eagles. And Victor Balogun, who's our new FSA, I think got 3 fouls in less than 10 minutes of court time.
10 minutes.
Yeah,
10 minutes.
I mean, tough start for him. He hit a 3, so maybe you could say, he has an outside shot, but he struggled a lot on defense. So I go back to what I said earlier. Marami pang bigas kakainin tong Ateneo Blue Eagles before they can even think about contending or even sniffing the Final Four in season 87. Maui, Sam.
Maui.
Yeah, I think si Gab mentioned most of the things, our notes from the Ateneo team. I just have to say also about Mapua first. I was really impressed kay Chamis. How did this guy go to the NCAA and not get the opportunity to AP? This guy is a floor general. I think he had 11 assists, 6 steals, and 2
Mga
blocks.
no-look pa siya eh.
Yeah, very flashy.
No look behind the back?
Yeah, no look behind the back. This guy is like the Remogat of the NCAA, to be honest. I don't.
Comparison.
It's ironic. It's ironic that he also went. He was also part of the UE team previously.
Parehong UE.
But
Ano?
this guy is really impressive in terms of like setting the pace and everything. I think it's one of the reasons why Mapua, after years of not making the finals, I think finally made the finals. This guy is for real. Si Chamis, he's gonna have a good future. I would bet against anyone who would say that he's probably gonna get the MVP again next season sa NCAA. But yeah, about the Ateneo side, I think si Gab mentioned yung problems when it comes to the perimeter players. It's the same problem for Ateneo for the second state.
It's the same problem. Exactly, Maui.
I don't know if Jared Bahay will be the answer. Everyone's expecting him to be the answer. Grabe yung pressure, I think, for Jared Bahay.
Maui, I think he's the only answer right now. That's yun eh. Parang siya lang yung option kaya everyone's expecting him to be the answer.
Yeah. The problem is for me, guards usually have a harder time to transition when they go to the higher tier league. That's very evident when you see players play in the NBA. It's one of the reasons why people are saying people have to be more patient with regards to like players like Scoot Henderson, who's one of the top picks from last NBA draft. And I think there will be a lot of headwinds. The problem with that is, will Jared Bahay be able to handle all the pressure playing for Ateneo? I hope he does, because as Sam mentioned, he's probably the only answer for Ateneo this coming season. But I think Gab mentioned yung problem sa backcourt. That's a problem that we've had the past season or so. I think the bigger question for me right now is yung problem on the front court. You can really feel, di ba?
I agree.
Last year we saw the fallout of the big drop off when Kwame went out. But Obasa was able to play very well, especially in the second round last season. This season, the problem is we're not getting Gio Chu back. For all the flame that Gio Chu has gotten all these years, he's still a big body. He's still a guy you can just throw and play with players like Mike Phillips from LaSalle or even with the other big men. You have to question how will Ateneo be able to position and battle with teams like UP. They have Gary Stevens, they have Ododu, they have all of these big guys. Alter. And when you talk about that, you also have to talk about LaSalle. They have Raven Cortez, they have Mike Phillips, they have basically most of their big man coming back. KQ. And that's very concerning to me. So Ateneo has a very big problem. I have to agree with Gab. Marami pang bigas kailangan kainin ng Ateneo. Ateneo fans have to be very patient this season. If last season was a struggle, I think that this season would be a bigger hurdle. I don't know if they will start out better for season 87. I don't know if it will be the same story for season 87. I just know that it's more of a harder hurdle for Ateneo this coming season. They have just so many issues both on the front court and on the back court. But we still haven't seen the whole lineup. Josh Nieto wasn't there, Lazaro wasn't there. So these are some of the veterans. Maybe if they come back, Ateneo will be more stable. So Sean Kitevis, the captain, one of the captains, wasn't even there yet. I think he was there sa venue. If I remember correctly,
Sa bench.
pinagalitan, andun siya sa bench. Pinagalitan pa siya ng referees because he was talking to the younger people during the game. But Ateneo has a very big hurdle this coming off season. I expect them to join all of the leagues. I think they have also agreed to join yung Phil Oil. So Ateneo will also join a lot of leagues this off season. But yeah, I pray that the Ateneo team, at Ateneo alumni will be patient because we have to see this how this unfolds. We have to be patient with Jared Bahay. I hope it doesn't get flamed like Gio Chu or Ian Espinosa. But Ateneo would just have to really be a sponge and get all of the experiences that they get this off-season. Maybe some of the bright spots are some of the players, so weak players from the wing like Tuano, Asoro, and Cicelis were more aggressive. I hope Kyle Gamber finally gets to get his rhythm. It seems like he has the green light to shoot. He has the green light to create, but he hasn't been able to put up points on the board over the past 2 seasons. So maybe we can see a better Gamber during the next few games. I'm happy about Tuano. I have to say that Tuano looks a lot stronger. Tuano looks bucked up. If you watch yung social media, Tuano's always with Sean Kitevis. So I'm not surprised that
If there's anyone who knows how to bulk up, it's Sean Kitevis. Guns for days.
I think si Gamber has to be with them all the time also. I think he's also hanging out with them. Si Amos has also been with them. Amos looks trimmed down. He will definitely have to have a big season for Ateneo to contend for season 8.
He's gonna get a lot of shots. Mason's gonna have to get a lot of shots.
That's for sure. If Ateneo is not gonna be able to get Mason Amos involved, they will struggle definitely for season 87. But yeah, this is just the first game. We don't have just much like last off season. Remember, Ateneo started 0-5, as Sammy mentioned, diba? They struggled right off the bat. They were 0-5 to start ng Phil Oil. Hopefully, they don't get 0-5 naman sa Pinoy Liga. But we have to be patient because this is a younger team than last season. And hopefully the question for Ateneo is, will they be able to peak at the right time? Similar to last season. I think that time was their problem during last season. They were starting to figure things out. But unfortunately, being the 4th seed in the UAAP is very hard. So that's going to be a question for Ateneo. Will they be able to peak at the right time? Hopefully, we get Bahay within the next 1 or 2 months when he graduates from Ateneo de Cebu. And we see that connection with Bahay and Amos. So yeah, Sam.
Before you go, Sam, I do have some additional notes off of Maui's points. You talk about bulking up. I think that's very apparent when you're facing Mapua. Because Mapua, man, they are very physical. There's a reason why the NCAA is known for its physicality, and I think Mapua showed it to those Ateneo guards, those Ateneo perimeter players, hell, and even the big men. Kyle Gamber struggled to get past any of the guards because he was getting bumped. They were hip checking him, hand checking him, everything. That's a good wake up call actually for Ateneo. This is the type of competition you're gonna have to face. Mapua was a finalist in the NCAA. They were very physical and kita magulang din. They're one of their subs of the Vinci Concepcion. I think I counted around 4 elbows he threw. I think he was called for 1. so very physical game for Ateneo to be introduced in the Pinoy Liga Cup. That's it. Sammy, go ahead.
Good point on Obasa, Maui, mentioning the big men that they're going to miss. I just want to remind everyone, see Obasa, he also averaged like 5 blocks. One of the shot block leaders, if I'm not mistaken, the
shot block leader.
Oh, the shot block leader from last season, and they're going to definitely miss that shot blocking and defense of Obasa. And yung just sheer size. Oo, 'di ba? Kita mo naman si Mason yung nag-start at center in the game, 'di ba? So Gio Chu, maybe you'd like to reconsider. Baka gusto mong bumalik for your final year in Ateneo. Be a starter for this team.
Yung parang si Frank Golia lang nung dati, di ba? Diba dati si Frank Golia used to do that, right? When he already said he was gonna leave, then people begged him, come on, stay. We need a center. Diba?
When they needed
Shout out
a center for that, the championship team. Yeah, I remember that. And Frank was pretty
That
solid.
That first Bo Perasol season, they asked Frank Golia to come back. I remember that. So shout out to Frank the Tank.
Yeah, and Gab, I think you mentioned si Ebdani, 30 Ebdani, who played actually, I think, well, given it was his first game.
Homegrown.
Just happy to see another Blue Eaglet playing for Ateneo. I'm not sure if he will make it to the final UAAP roster. Syempre, it's going to be very competitive, but nice to see other Blue Eaglets. We knew about Porter coming in, but didn't expect Ebdani to see Ebdani play. So shout out lang to another Ateneo high school player joining the seniors team, no? So worth mentioning. Okay. So that's it for Ateneo. I think for me though, the most interesting game, though close yung UP versus Olfu, as we discussed, and we were talking about that sa chat natin. But solid to, close game, blah 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 blah. I think the most exciting or interesting game over the weekend was the two UAAP teams clashing, which was yung NU. This is the first time we're seeing NU and the young FEU squad. This game went to overtime. I actually thought NU would pull away kasi there was a time na lumamang na NU and pa-end na, and then I think si Pasaol got hot from
They were
from
up
3-point
15,
line.
I think, to start the fourth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna win.
Yeah, same. And FEU made it a game. Unfortunately, overtime wasn't as exciting or fun. I think FEU had a lot of good looks. They just couldn't make their shots sa overtime. But I want to hear your thoughts on both teams. I know we've seen FEU in the previous games, pero how has FEU progressed for you? Seeing them go up against NU, which is, we're calling them another title final for title contender, medyo shoe in the final four, I would say. So how has FEU progressed despite going 0-3? I think 0-3 na sila in the last 3 games. And what was your reaction seeing NU play for the first time? And by the way, we talked about this in the previous episode. We actually saw Garcia and Vince Reyes play for NU. So that was very exciting to see. Still can't believe they're playing for NU and not Adamson. But I want to hear from you, Maui, first. So, kamusta sa'yo? FEU, may nakita ka bang improvements coming from the very first game? Sa NU naman, anong nakita mo dito sa medyo new-look NU team losing a few of their key players?
Yeah, I think very apparent that FEU is starting to play better. You can see yung motion sila on offense. It's not really just one-on-one anymore. I think I tweeted this out on Twitter, on X. Some FEU fans, I think, reacted that they're happy and like the post. They're starting to play better with Sean Chambers. And I think if they get a better understanding of the system that Sean Chambers wants for FEU, I think it's going to be good. Hopefully, they also peak at the right time. They have a lot of young players, but they will get the green light. I think that's what's apparent during the first 3 games. Si VJ Pre has, I think, attempted more than 10 shots all 3 games. Diba?
I like what I'm seeing from VJ Pre, by the way.
I like what I'm seeing with VJ Pre. I like his...
I told you guys.
I like his... I like his size. Saka I think this guy can be converted also. He's gonna be a very versatile forward.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason why people are comparing him to Mac Bello. But on the other hand, I think si Pasaol is also starting to be relaxed and comfortable. Si Joric Bautista has been hitting shots the past 2 games. This is probably the 3 guys that will have to carry them along with Cholo Nuevo on the offensive end. But yeah, basically, I'm just happy to see FEU starting to really embrace yung full rebuild nila. I think that's needed for them because they struggled really during the past 2 seasons. Tsaka, sorry for Adamson, but seeing FEU play yung core nila nung juniors division, even si Daa is part of the team. I think si Dre Miller is also part of the team. So I'm very happy to see players from their juniors division play the seniors division. Hopefully they continue to develop. I like what I'm seeing so far. Hopefully they continue to get better. Sa NU naman, NU is basically almost the same team outside of Baclaan. I wanted to see more of Humamoy, but he didn't really perform well during this game. As expected, si Figueroa. Si Figueroa, as expected, contributed yung usual niya na 13 points, 4 rebounds, and a couple of assists, steals and blocks. It was great to see Padrones back also. This guy was sidelined last season by an elbow by Malik Diouf, accidental elbow. But even yung bata ni Gab, si PJ Palacelo, was able to showcase nung latter part of the game. His game, I think that they have to go with Muhammad Diazana. I think si Gab and I were very impressed with Diazana, especially during the UPNU game during the previous Pinoy Liga from the previous year. I think that they will experiment a lot with Diazana and Omar John, and ultimately, I think that they would have to end with Diazana. They have to really change also. I think si Omar John is good, but doesn't have that ceiling anymore. Maybe Diazana can provide that ceiling that they need to get to contend as a title contender, not as a Final Four contender. I would like to see a lot more, probably si Humamoy, of taking over games. And Steve Nash was his usual self. Manansala was his usual self. But we should expect probably Figueroa also to take another level with Baclaan leaving. There will be a lot of shots available for a lot of players this season. So hopefully these guys step up. Gab.
So I want to talk about FEU first. I'm very interested in their team and how they would play under Sean Chambers. And you hit the nail right on the head, Maui. They're playing very differently from how they played the past, not just last season, the past couple of seasons, even under Coach Olsen Rosella. A lot more off-ball action, a lot more misdirection plays. So I like what I see from Sean Chambers' system. Hopefully patuloy-tuloy ito yung tama ka, Maui. The more exposure they have to Sean Chambers' system, I think would be better. And my second takeaway from FEU, Joric Bautista is gonna have all the shots in the world for the coming UAP season. They're running so many actions for Joric Bautista to get him free. I think Coach Sean Chambers kind of knows na Joric is the only shooter we have, the only legit shooter we have. We're gonna try to get him every shot in the world, and that's how it felt like. I mean, from start to finish, they were running everything for Joric Bautista. Crazy. So don't be surprised if you're gonna get some sort of a Ray Remogat season from Joric Bautista, and he'll make the mythical 5. Because he's gonna rack up a ton of numbers if he continues to shoot like this. You know, where he's shooting well, he's getting wide open shots. If he continues this, big season for Joric Bautista. I've already mentioned VJ Pre over and over, so I will not go into detail with VJ Pre. I'll let Sam and Maui sing praises for him because I've sung enough praises for VJ Pre. If they were wise, they would run more plays. Oh, if they would run more plays through VJ Pre, like what Coach Topex did for KQ, just run the offense through him. This guy's so good. Well, anyway, kayo na bahala kay VJ Pre. Kay Pasaol, finally, it's been a rough start to Pinoy Liga for January Pasaol. Yeah. Finally, actually, he was having a rough game until the fourth quarter. He was not having a pretty good game. So fourth quarter, he led that comeback from from down double digits in the fourth quarter to force the game to overtime. Just couldn't get it done in overtime. But if he continues this play, like what you said, I think in our first Pinoy Liga episode, Maui, they could find themselves contending for the Final Four if they continue. If those three guys, tama ka, Maui, those three guys would have to be the main guys. If those three guys continue to play the way they do, they are going to compete. And I'm happy for FEU fans. It's been a sad couple of seasons for them. It's finally they're building towards something. They have a ton of talented players, and they have a very competent FSA. I like what I saw from Mohamed Konate again.
Konate, yeah.
Yes, let's go. I love it. The future is bright for FEU. Now for NU, my first, I told this to you guys before we came into the air. Yeah, they should just go with Mohamed Diosana. They cannot go back to Omar John. They just cannot. Diosana is more mobile. Maybe the offense is not there yet, but you can see the kind of it's shaping into something for Mohamed Diosana. But he's more mobile. He can jump higher. He's more athletic. He can protect the rim more than Omar John. So I think they have to go to him. Aside from that, tama si Maui. This is essentially the same team. They just lost Baclaan and Malonzo as main rotation pieces, and you have immediate replacements already in Vince Reyes and Humamoy and Tebol Garcia. Yep.
May Don Lim pa.
May Don Lim pa. Yeah, and Patrick Hugh. I almost forgot. Yes, Patrick Hugh is still there. So this is essentially the same team. But what I am looking to, what I'm looking towards is where are they going to get more improvements from there? So they're going to have to focus on the younger guys, because I think we know who Steve Nash is already by now. We know already who Jolo Manansala is. But we haven't seen the full potential yet of a Jake Figueroa. We haven't seen the full potential yet of a Reinhard Humamoy. We haven't even seen the full potential yet of a PJ Palacielo, who was really good in that fourth quarter and he
was dominating
in overtime.
Second half.
Yep. When he was playing as a 4. I keep on telling this over and over. Don't play him as your backup center. Play him as your power forward. Run some offense through him. He's really good. So those guys, the guys who are fresher, newer to the lineup, I'm interested to see what kind of development will happen for them. Because same thing, I think this for season 87 is going to be the same story for NU. Can they vault up to contender status? They've always been there as a very good team, but can they be with the UP and with the LaSalle? So same story. I'm excited for their young guys. Hopefully, Coach Jeff Napa, huwag ka man masyadong strict, Coach Jeff. Pwede mo namang bigyan ng konting leeway yung mga bata. Diba? Make them make some mistakes, get some experience out there. Don't have such a short fuse for your younger players. Si Coach Jeff kasi parang one mistake lang, pull ka na sa game eh. So I like to see a little bit more leeway for the younger guys. Sammy.
You guys covered everything. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from FEU, and Gabi mentioned it. It's just 3 games for me, and I know we haven't seen a lot from the other teams yet. But I'm really excited for this FEU team, and I think they can compete, or at least, get close to getting a spot in the Final Four. Because right now, again, we haven't seen a lot of the teams, but it seems like yung top 3 are still going to be LaSalle, UP, and NU in no particular order. That 4th spot, just like last season, is up for grabs, and I think FEU, sabi natin, take your time. FEU fans, relax. But at least nakikita na natin yung future core nila, di ba? Or at least yung foundations of this team. And we just talked about them last week, and they didn't do so well last week. And sabi natin, okay guys, be patient. They haven't even really started training under their new coach. And it's only been a week, diba? Supposedly, last week lang sila nag-start mag-train. And you're seeing yung effects na agad of the changes in strategy. So, imagine how if they work on this for the next couple of months leading up to UAAP season 87. I'm excited to see what they can do with that, and I'm excited to see the players develop. As you mentioned, Gab, I think Pasool had his best game, pero sa akin it's still I'm still a bit disappointed with Pasool kasi grabe din yung hype with Pasool coming from high school. But VJ Pre, Maui, as you mentioned, highly versatile forward. Pag malayo yung tingin mo, akala mo talaga si Mac Bello yung naglalaro Medyo same size, same body type, same offensive game. So I really love what I'm seeing from VJ Pre. For NU, I think for me, Humamoy again, just like Pasaol, and I was hoping they would both do well sa game na to because sila yung magkalaban sa high school. I think it wasn't a good start for Humamoy, but I'm hoping to see him break out this Pinoy Liga or sa preseason kasi we've seen him kill Ateneo nung second round of last season, and this is his opportunity kasi as you guys mentioned, wala na nga sinabaklaan. So that's one thing that I wanted. I'm waiting for yung Humamoy explosion. And siya yung nag-game winner against UP last season sa Pinoy Liga. So we've seen it in the preseason, di ba?
In the semis.
Happy to in the semis. And happy also to see one of our favorites from that semis game, si Francisco. We were surprised he didn't make the team last season, pero he's here now, so we'll see if he gets a chance to make it to season 87. I think for NU, it's just one game, so medyo mahirap pa to sort of react also to their team. But for me, FEU, yung key takeaway ko talaga dito is like, I'm excited to see FEU gradually improve coming from that first game. So we'll see what NU, what Ateneo will look like, what Adamson will look like after their first 3 games kasi those teams have only played 1 game. So, I mentioned Adamson playing 1 game. I want to jump to the last UAAP team that we haven't talked about. Adamson, the team that lost Tebol Garcia and Vince Reyes to NU. We saw a few new faces sa Adamson, despite losing a lot of players and some of the players some of the stars not playing, like sina Cedric Manzano. We did see a lot of a couple of new faces that look solid for Adamson. Gab, I think napanood mo yung hindi mo pala ito napanood live, but what are your thoughts with Adamson's first game after losing out to so many of their high school stars?
This is an Adamson team that's, I think, on the outside, when you're a fan and you look at, they're just the same team. So what's the upside, diba? Ano yung next level nilang pwedeng puntahan with the same team? Sino yung pwedeng mag-step up? They have this new guy, si AJ Fransman, who apparently came from Enderon College, was probably scouted in last season's Pinoy Liga Cup. And sabi siguro ni Coach Nash, let's get that guy. So he's now playing for So he's now playing for Adamson. I think he had his best game last season
against Adamson.
Against Adamson. So that's how Coach Nash probably recruited him and how he impressed Coach Nash. But yeah, I mean, maybe he can add a scoring punch to Adamson. What's more interesting to me for Adamson actually is who was not playing, who was not in the lineup. Mm-hmm. So where's Matthew Montebon? Mm-hmm. Why is he not there?
He's not even part of the roster, diba? Wala siya sa lineup na pinost.
Cedric Manzano did not play, but he is part of the lineup. So
part of the roster, yeah.
He's safe. We didn't see there were supposed to be 2 Ronzoni twins, but there was only one lined up. We didn't see Sabandal. There was a comment in our previous video that he might have torn his ACL, which is that is a knockout punch to Adamson if he's out for season 87. Because if there's ever one guy who can create his own offense on this team, it's Joem Sabandal. And without him, they're gonna have to lean on Matthew Montebon, who was also not on this team. So I don't like where this is going for Adamson. If anyone has some news on Matthew Montebon, or maybe he's just still in the States, please leave a comment down below. I do want to know where is he. But yeah, seems to be the same team. This is a same team, low upside team. Unless they pull a recruit out of a magical bag, I don't see Adamson go. The ceiling for Adamson is going to be number 4 again. Sadly, I do want to see them compete, but it looks like it's going to be the same team. Maui or Sam?
Yeah, I think si Gab mentioned most of the things that we can say about Adamson as of the moment. Actually, about questions about previous players, I would have to say that they also have Alu Gaye. I don't know if that's pronounced correctly. I think he's also on FSA. So will we see him in action more during the Pinoy Liga Cup? But the early results from Adamson is a bit concerning. A lot of new players, a lot of players we expected to be here are not here. With all that they've lost during the off season, I think it's very important that they get Montebon back, especially if si Sabandal really tore his ACL. It's going to be a challenging year for Adamson. If there's a team that can surprise me, I would say it would be Adamson. I think we ranked them pretty low. I ranked them pretty low in pre-season during season 86. But it's going to be a Cedric Manzano show, to be honest. If they lose all of these players, it's sad. Them losing out on all of those blue chip players from their juniors division. These players could have easily been contributing, guys. Very stable rotational pieces, or even starters. I would say si Table Garcia could be a starter for Adamson. But as Coach Nash, I think we mentioned this in our previous episodes. Coach Nash is finding players that could contribute, that are keepers. They will really have to be able to do with what they have. And Coach Nash is a coach that can really maximize any lineup as we've seen during previous seasons. So yeah, I'm excited to see what will happen to them during the next few games. But it's a bit concerning if you look at yung lineup nila, not just yung performance nila on the court. We'll have to see them play. We'll have to see them during the Phil Oil. We have to shout out lang Phil Oil also released that they're opening, I think, on May 6, if I'm not mistaken. All of the UAAP teams and all of the NCAA teams have confirmed. So that's going to be another tournament that we'll be looking at. That will coincide with Pinoy Liga. So that's going to be an exciting time for all of us. Any final thoughts, Sam?
One thing about Adamson that I do want to say. Last season, if it is true na si Sabandal has injured his ACL or tore his ACL, last season, the exact same thing happened to another guard of Adamson. And we know what happened to that guard, Jerome Lastimosa. So, masasabi ko lang, Jerome Sabandal, if you tore your ACL, don't rush it. It's not worth it. I don't think it's going to be a huge difference, to be honest. I'm sorry. So, if it is true that you tore your ACL, just take your time. We wish you all the best. Hopefully, you get to recover in time for season 87, but don't rush it. Mahaba-haba pa ang career mo. So, take it easy. That's it. That's it for today's episode. Hopefully, marami pa tayong mga pasabog. You know, the Pinoy Liga just started. We mentioned Phil Oil. So, marami pang pasabog yung mga teams. Hopefully, we get to watch the other teams play also. If you have mga insider scoops, we're getting a lot of feedback or comments from our subscribers. So please don't be afraid to share them down below. Comment down below. If you haven't yet, please do like and subscribe to our channel. It helps us a lot. And stay tuned for future episodes. We do have an upcoming episode with Mason Amos. So watch out for that. See you. Bye-bye.